Hello and good morning. Welcome back to the 5 Cent Cigar Newscast. I'm Imani Fleming. Thank you so much for joining us. Coming up this week, how a grant received by the university is enhancing the experiences for those students in the pharmacy, biological sciences, and neuroscience programs. Then we have a preview of the theater department's first show of the spring semester, Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. And as always, make sure to stick around for your Rhody Sports Corner. In January, the Champlin Foundation awarded the University of Rhode Island nearly $565,000 for advanced technologies that would elevate the learning experiences for students in multiple disciplines. One of the project's granted funding was the acquiring of a laser capture microdissection tool that isolates individual cell structures to examine their genetic blueprint. I spoke with neuroscientist and assistant professor Dr. Jamie Ross about what this means for URI students looking to enter today's biomedical workforce and how they will be using this high-precision piece of technology. The Champlin Foundation has invested in URI's technological resources for over 30 years, most recently in many of the science departments. Dr. Jamie Ross tells us more about the new laser microscope that will prepare students to grow within the biomedical and neuroscience fields.
This is a very, very sophisticated microscope laser system. The closest equivalent is in Boston at Harvard Medical School. That's for where students have access to it.
She says that students studying various brain disorders will be able to identify individual cells and neurons in the brain or other biological systems without losing their spatial specificity.
You can draw on the screen with a little pen where you want to cut. You can cut multiple places or just one, whatever you want to do. You push a button, the laser comes out, cuts it exactly where you tell it to cut it, drops it down into a tube underneath the stage of the microscope, and voila. You have exactly what it is that you see with your eye that you want to capture.
Ross says URI students enrolled in many of the classes within the pharmacy and bio-life sciences programs will have full access to this equipment.
One of the courses we teach, for example, is a neuroscience class where we teach methodology. And so this is something that we feel is really important for the students to understand the workflow of when you would use something like this.
This revolutionary machine will allow students to gain conceptual and practical training, something Ross says URI is lucky to have.
As a neuroscientist by training, I can tell you how many times I've looked in the microscope, seen something, and I just say, man, I wonder what is in that neuron. Why does that neuron, that cell, whatever, look like that compared to these other ones? This type of machine, because it is so expensive, they're very hard to find at universities. I think URI is very lucky to get it. Industry has it. So it would also be helpful for, students who then want to go on to industry as well.
According to Ross, there will be little time to write any new grant proposals this semester due to the amount of work in store to prepare for the arrival of the LCM. Imani Fleming reporting, 5 Cent Cigar News. The theater department is back with a longtime favorite at URI, Twelfth Night by William Shakespeare. The play premieres at the Fine Arts Center starting tomorrow night, March 3rd at 7:30, and tells the story of Viola and Sebastian, twins separated at shipwreck in the 1600s, and their separate journeys in love and grief. Alexa Potimianos talked to some of the show's cast members and has an inside look on what to expect from this comedy classic.
The URI Theater Department is putting on a production of Twelfth Night this upcoming weekend. I talked to some of the cast members to get a preview of the show.
My name's Alana Parrott. I am a senior theater major with a concentration in both acting and directing, and I am playing Festi.
I'm Carly. I'm a senior theater major with a concentration in acting, and I'm also a animal science minor, and I'm playing Countess Olivia.
Both actresses provide more insight into their rehearsal process and what to look out for in the show.
It's been really fun, especially because Tyler Dabrowski, the director, he's a really fun guy. And he's always down for us to just try new things. And if we're like, oh, Tyler, what if we did this? He's like, yeah, totally do it. And it's been very collaborative, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely collaborative. Pretty, like, the show itself is wild in essence and like very creative. And I feel like a lot of the rehearsal process has fostered that type of creativity and like craziness for us, which is nice. So it's been like comfortable enough that we felt like we could explore.
I'm most excited. I think this is the same scene. I think I'm most excited for, and the audience should be most excited for, Malvolio's kind of like dance to like woo Olivia. That scene is very funny and very just surprising. I think, yeah, they'll be most excited for just Malvolio's entire arc.
So I would say I'm excited to, okay, so this might be a little biased, but I do have a few songs in there, so I'm very excited to see, to play that out, those songs that I have. But then I'm also very excited to see, I guess, just in general, the response to the music, because I feel like when people hear that we're doing Shakespeare and like 12th Night, they're like, ooh, like 18th century, but it's like, we got disco balls. Like, y'all are not ready to like feel how relevant this is to now.
Alexa Potimianos, 5-Cent Cigar News.
And now over to Aniekan Okon with your Rhody Sports Corner.
Thanks, Imani. Hello and welcome back to another edition of your Rhody Sports Corner. After a historic run in the regular season, the women's basketball team now have their eyes set on the upcoming A10 tournament. Earning the number 2 seed, the team will begin play Friday afternoon. Earlier this week, we heard from Tammy Reese and players on their excitement for the upcoming tournament.
We're really excited. I think we got that woe is me hangover off us after the Dayton loss, and now it's anew. It's 0-0, and let's get to work and let's go get this championship.
The whole team is very excited. It's going to be a new season, so Penn State, and we are ready to battle. Yeah, we have a couple of days to get ready, so we just have to focus on what worked for us for the whole season and what we have to get better. So we're going to seize all the opportunity that we have to work on.
I'll have coverage from the tournament in Delaware beginning tomorrow. Sticking with basketball, there hasn't been much to celebrate for the Rhody men's basketball team this season. Sitting at 5-10 in conference play and losers of 9 of their last 10 as of this past weekend, times have been tough for the team. But they were able to celebrate one thing this past weekend, their senior class.
Ismail Alameen and Jeremy Shepard were honored prior to tip against Duquesne. It was all Rhody in this one. We pick it up in the first half. Jeremy Shepard off a screen, squares up, steps back, and knocks down the jumper. On the other end, Duquesne's Kevin Easley knocks down 3 of his team-high 13 points. Take a look at this sequence to end the half. Duquesne goes up for the layup, misses it. Malik Martin grabs the board and passes it to Shepard, who launches it from half court and knocks it down to give the Rams a 13-point halftime lead. In the second half, Jeremy Shepard drives to the lane and adds some English to the finish. And later, the exclamation point comes here when Jalen Carey gets the steal and slams it home. Rhody gets back in the win column with a 70-54 win against Duquesne. After, David Cox credited his seniors for leading the team to victory.
This team performed at a high level today, and I'm really glad that these 2 seniors next to me, led the way, not only with their play, but with their mentality, with their leadership throughout the game today.
It made it better, having my son there, with him getting to experience that. He don't know what's going on right now, but, he know who his father is, know his mom is. So, just to have him here, just to experience that meant a lot to me.
After having last weekend off, the softball team returned to action, hoping to get back to their winning ways. With more from their final game at the Hatter Classic, here's Zach Austin.
The action gets started early in this one. Top of the first, Susan Harrison starts off with an RBI single on a Hatter miscue to make it 1-0 Rams. Shortly after, Emily Power gets walked with the bases loaded, allowing Ari Castillo to reach home plate and extend the lead to 2-0. Fast forward to the top of the sixth, bases loaded again for the Rams as Cassie Swenson hits it deep into right field and takes advantage of another Stetson miscue. The Hatter outfielder dropped the ball, allowing Maddie Melise and Skylar Rapuano to both reach home to double the Rhody lead 4-0. The Rams close things out thanks in large part to the arm of Liz Lynchard. The junior pitcher appeared in all 7 innings for Rhody in a career-best performance, completing her first career shutout while registering 8 strikeouts, with 3 coming in the 7th inning. Uri ultimately held strong down the stretch to win 4-0, snapping their 6-game losing streak and moving to 3-7 on the season.
And let's take a look at the rest of your scores around Kingston. Baseball was swept for a second straight weekend at South Alabama. Tennis swept Holy Cross this weekend to pick up their 6th win of the season. Women's track and field finished 7th at the A10 championships. The men's team picked up their 2nd straight A10 title, beating out Davidson by 85 points. And congratulations to Emmanuel Tahan, MP Fapasi, and Des Elmore for earning postseason awards in the A10. Tahan earned all-conference first team for a 2nd straight year, while Fapasi and Elmore both earned third team honors. And that's it for this week's Rhody Sports Quarter. Back to you.
That's all we have for you this week at the 5 Cent Cigar Newscast. As always, make sure to check us out at RhodyCigar.com and follow us on Twitter at Rhody Cigar. Reporting from Kingston, I'm Imani Fleming. Stay safe, Rhody.